Welcome in, everybody, to Inside the Burrow. Robbie Listella here, alongside my co-host Mike Bergman and Richard Pereira. We are back. We've got basketball news for you. We've got another edition of FAU football this week, hitting the road to Texas, taking on UTSA. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about last week's heartbreaker versus UNT. I was out last week at the AAC Media Days talking to FAU Hoops. Mike Bergman was out there last night watching them ball out on the court. Mike, how'd the team look?
Honestly, guys, we're going to be just fine. And I said that to Coach as he was walking off the court after the scrimmage. We're going to be just fine. I love that we were picked fifth. I really do. I love exceeding expectations. It's great to be like a middle-of-the-pack underdog that hopefully teams might look past. But I think once they see us, they're going to think otherwise. We have the best 4-5 combo in the conference, 100%. Baba Miller and Matas, they're going to cause some big problems, especially for undersized UAB, who was picked first, right? They don't have a 7-footer, I think, right? I think they have Yaks. How tall is Yaks? 6'10"?
He's like 6'11". He's right around there, 7 foot. He's a big dude.
Is he that tall? I know he's a big dude, but I know he's not 7. And I know they bill him a little bigger than he really is. And what's the other guy? Coleman?
Yeah, he's bad.
Coleman's good, but he's like 6'8", right?
Yeah, Yaks is their real only big man, unless I'm not too sure.
I don't think they picked up another big man because I know they worked their offense around Yaks. And I don't think they picked up a big man. And I haven't looked too deeply into UAB. I know they're good. I know on paper they're picked first. I know we're going to cause some problems for a lot of conference teams, man. Like, these guys are good. I've been to a few practices. I know you guys probably have too. But watching them play blue versus white, the white team dominated, and they had that 1-2 punch of Baba and Lithuanian number 1. We have got a lot of weapons on the team. Caleb Glenn is like a 6'6" version of Elijah Martin.
That dunk was insane. That dunk was crazy.
That dunk was insane. I know it was like an uncontested,
still
the dunk contest dunk, but you saw what I posted, right? It's great. If you guys check out my thing, Birdman138 on Twitter, you'll see a Caleb dunk Glenn there. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I heard from well-embedded moles that Mantas Voquetatis, I hope I said that right. I put like a Spanish accent on it, but it's not Spanish.
I can't do it. I don't know which one's which.
For Owls fans out there, that's number 8.
Number 8.
I'm forgetting Matas Vashanas' number at the moment, but both of them are going to be good.
18. No. Baba Miller's 18. Baba Miller's 18.
Okay.
17 maybe?
I'm not sure. But I heard from well-embedded moles that number 8 was balling with Baba last night. And if FAU has size like that, there's a lot of teams in this conference that they have really good guard play. But even Memphis, Dane Danger, Musa Cisse, they're good players, but they're really unproven in terms of long-term playing. So, Matas Voquetatis, he played in Lithuania while Baba played. I'm going to keep saying it until I get it right. But and Baba's played in Spain and he played at FSU. So that's veteran leadership at the big man position, which there's other teams who have big man, but they might not be ready to play. So
ours are good. Baba's tested and proven. Matas has got a lot of overseas, I guess, semi-pro ball experience. He is a big dude. He's bigger than Vlad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's bigger than Vlad. He's more, and it's hard to believe that there's someone that's like bigger and more of a presence underneath than Vlad, but he is. You know who else is really good? Devin Vanderpool. Poole is reminds me of Spoon a lot now. He's explosive. He can shoot the 3. He's fast. He's got.
Well, I'm sure Dusty envisioned when he recruited Jaquel and Devin that eventually the long-term plan was for them to take the wheel. So we know the talent's there, and now John Jacobs is the one who's going to be able to bring it out of them, which, no knock against Dusty. Jacobs has just done it a long time as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like with Jacobs at the helm developing those two. So along with the staff as well.
These guys did a hell of a job recruiting a team. We had a great turnout last night. We had probably
than last year, which is surprising.
Probably close to 1,000 people last night for Midnight Madness at the Burrow, which to me, and I know it's the Ellie, I call it the Burrow. I'm old school still, but
You got to think about it too. 1,000
we had maybe about 1,100, maybe a few more people last year, and last year we raised the Final Four banner. So to have like a comparable crowd after the whole team left, not raising a Final Four banner, none of that extra stuff, but just like coming out to meet the team, and that was awesome, man. And they played a great scrimmage. They played full speed for 20 minutes. They started like a second half 45-45. And and we had like 6 players in double digits last night in 20 minutes, on both sides. We're going to be good, man. We got a ton of weapons. We're fast. We got guards. We got real wings now. We're probably one of the taller teams in the conference, I have to say.
And especially, it's not just big men; it's the wings too. Our guys they're big bodied. They're tall. They're not lanky either. So it's going to be I was at the AAC media days, and a lot of these teams that they're going to be good too. A lot of newness though, so it's really going to come down to who gets their guys to gel better. And from what I saw there, I've been around FAU a lot more, so I may be a little bit biased, but it just seems like this FAU team is really like close right away. And there's teams that were there that are definitely tight knit, but I'm just not sure about all of them having that level of connectivity. We'll see. It'll come out on the court, and that's something that John Jacobs described as he's seeing, the assist level, the willingness to pass the ball off. So I agree. I wasn't there last night, but I imagine it was fun basketball. And it'll be interesting this season. St. Leo scrimmages next weekend. That place is going to be rocking. I think, people on Twitter, I saw some trolls commenting on the attendance last night. It's a glorified pep rally, and yes, you want in an ideal world, you want it to be like Kentucky's Big Blue Madness or whatever it's called, where the whole place they're rolling out music and rappers and whatever. But that's not going to be the case. Even Memphis didn't even get that. So there was good attendance last night.
Rally. The girls' teams and women's team is involved. There's cheerleaders and cheerleader performance and whatever. I mean, It is what it is. But back in the day when I was a student, we didn't even have that many people in a game, let alone like a meet the team scrimmage at nighttime. Like, we should be really proud of where we're at. The team is going to exceed expectations. I love that they're like 104 in the 104 in the net in the Ken Palm right now.
They can just go up. So
it's great. And I don't know how. I understand the Ken Palm. I get it. I know it's based on analytics and statistical data. I get that. But there's no statistical data on half our team because they're like overseas imports, So how did they even factor that we are 104? I love that too. So I think once they start playing and the wheels start turning and points start coming in and their statistics, I think we're going to move up really fast in the Ken Palm rating. So and the net too. We're going to be. I'm just real excited. I can't wait for next week. I can't wait to see that St. Leo scrimmage. Man,
and then Auburn the following weekend while FAU's playing USF here. That's going to be a busy weekend in FAU sports for sure.
To add on to your points, guys.
Welcome back, Richard. I know Richard's trying to jump in. I see his finger in the air.
Welcome back.
Go ahead, Richard.
To add on to your points, Robbie and Mike, looking at the footage from Paradise Madness to see many people turn out to the event, even though it is a glorified pep rally, let's be honest there, and see the attendance be comparable to that of last year with the Final Four banner being raised into the rafters, that's very good. And when it comes to the talent of this team, I'm both excited and anxious to see how it all gels out on the court once the games go underway, and excited to see what all these new players have to display on behalf of Coach John Jacobs, who is pretty much it's very clear that he's not chasing Dusty May's shadow or ghost, as he so described during AAC Media Day. He is focused on getting his team on the right page, everybody on the right page, and making sure they get off to a great start to the 2024-25 college basketball season.
And I think that's a good thing, because you don't want to. The expectations are going to be high when you come in here, but you don't want to be. I don't think Mark Pope is at Kentucky chasing John Calipari. I don't think whoever, I can't remember off the top of my head, the Razorbacks greatest coach.
Mark Pope's there to be Mark Pope. That's his school, man. Like
exactly. So it's like John Jacobs is taking this with a blank slate and making it his own thing. He's going to be the Pope of FAU, hopefully within 10 years. So, it's all right there. We'll see how things click right away. But I have a good feeling by the end of the season, this team is going to be a well-oiled machine looking to make a run in that AAC tournament, which for the last year will be in Fort Worth, which I am so thankful for. I love a good trip to the Stockyards, but no fans go. No fans
Fort Worth is cool, but what a bad place to have to travel to. And it sucks for every school that's not from Texas because it's like a home game for half the team. And whatever. Anyway,
no. But
Coach Jacobs is the perfect guy for this job here at FAU, by the way. His leadership mantra, I don't know if you saw the shirts that he had for the first practices.
Relationships over everything.
That is awesome, and that is so true. Life is about, who you know and your relationships, and it's
especially at a school FAU where it's not Alabama where it's this big place. It's a community.
It's a community. It's very much a family too. Howard Schnellenberger really embraced that kind of family thing when he started the football program. I know you guys are too young to know that, but if you ask around to the people who were around back when the football team was just going, Howard Schnellenberger really did a good job, and he was perfect at this. This was what he specialized in, was making people feel like the people outside the program, like the me's and my wife and the Jim Slowiaks and and the Eddingers and all these people that have traveled with the team and been to every single crash in Nina Taylor and all these people. He really made them feel like they were part of the team, like they were wearing a uniform on game days, and Coach Jacobs is doing that already. He's perfect person to lead our program, and I think we're going to get off to a great start right away. There might be a couple, growing pains, right? New team move, but from what I saw, they're already gelling. This team is super close already. Relationships over everything. Gosh, these guys are playing so well together for a team that kind of just got together. It's going to be a really, really fun, exciting brand of basketball, and I can't wait for the season to start in a couple weeks.
It's going to be fun. Coach Jacobs.
I could talk hoops all day. We can go player by player, and we could do all that.
We might do an episode like that very soon. But okay. The last thing I'm going to say is Coach Jacobs got to go back to Texas for this AAC Media Days. He got surprised by his son, who flew in from Arkansas.
Yeah, I heard he was out there. I heard he was razzing Nellie Davis out there. He saw him on campus too, which is cool. So
that was pretty cool. He seemed very happy to see his family. So you always got to think about that side of things. He moved here from Texas. That's a long way to uproot his family, and so FAU plays a lot of ball in Texas. So it might be
here. It's a lot different here than Waco. A lot different. And I know. And shout out to his wife Sarah. She's doing a great job transitioning the family and getting everything set up. I know Coach worked hard all summer, and they're a great family. We're happy to have them both here in Boca and their kids too. They're perfect for here. It's great. We're happy to have them.
100%. And shifting gears now a little bit over to last week's game versus UNT in football. That was a good game, folks.
All right, I'm out of here.
Up until it wasn't. If the final 4 minutes and I believe 10 seconds of that game didn't happen, this would be a very happy podcast. We'd be talking about Paradise Madness, the biggest, most explosive win of the Herman era. But it was the biggest, most explosive game of the Herman era, but it wasn't a win, unfortunately. UNT comes back late in that one. Richard was in the booth for that one. He's seen a lot of FAU football in his days. Rich, what are your thoughts on the UNT game?
This is you, Richard. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. A deep sigh.
Man.
It was rough. I know. It was rough.
So much excitement. However, so much internal screaming at the end. We saw many bright moments from Cam Fancher, his best performance of the season.
Richard,
great performance from TJ Campbell.
You can't hold those screams in internally, dude. You got to let them out.
I did after the game.
Hold that stuff in, you're going to be a walking time bomb. You got to get outside and just let it. You got to scream. Remember when Hillary Clinton lost the election? Yeah. Those people were, you got to do that.
I vented after the game. So much frustration, but so many bright spots with the offense. Easily their best performance of this season, but the defense has to bounce back, and they have to do it on the road against UTSA, who isn't having a great season themselves. Same record as FAU with a 2-4 record, 0-2 in conference play. but they took a couple steps back compared to last year where they went 9-4. So it's definitely a winnable game, but it's a road game, and FU has struggled on the road in years past. So it's going to be very, very important for the Owls to get back on the right track with Coach Herman making the right adjustments to make sure they execute everything right this time. And especially near the end of the game, especially if it's a tight score. If the score is tight, got to come through.
This is our last. This game's our last chance to save the season. Like this one. Remember last week, Robbie, we talked about like, okay, 2 and 3. We have 3 games. We have to win 2 of them.
Yep.
Well, you know what? We lost one.
Yeah.
We lost the first one, and now we have to go 2-0 now in the next 2 games.
Yeah, especially if with USF, especially if Byron Brown's out, that's a game you gotta win. You're not gonna face a hampered USF team very much. They are not the same without their star quarterback. That's a game they're gonna have to win at home as well. USF's gonna come in amped up, but in my opinion, that's a game you have to win as well. If you lose these next 2, then back's against the wall. This week is the manageable one. UTSA has struggled. They've got a very good quarterback in Owen McCown, but a lot of his numbers have come against Kennesaw State, Houston Christian, and last week against Rice, where he was able to throw I believe it was like 250 and 3 touchdowns, but he only averaged 6 yards per completion, which was what the FAU offense was doing comparison before the last couple of weeks where they started stretching the field. So their offense was very short and tight last week. A lot of the receivers made plays. They were in that game, but their defense has struggled, especially in pass coverage. And Rice was able to march down the field 6 plays, 85 yards in less than 2 minutes, all pass plays, and get in the end zone to win that one. And that was demoralizing. I mean, UTSA was fighting with Rice after the end of that one, which you don't hear about a lot. Rice is not a team to be engaging in fights. So that was just not a very good display. So they need this win as much as FAU needs this win. They've had a very sound run game. They were able to run for 100 yards in, I believe, all but one of their games this season, including against Texas. So they've had some success on the ground. It hasn't been enough to keep that offense winning games. They've had good stretches, but the execution hasn't been there. And they lost to an ECU team that really has struggled, and but in the positive in that one, they shut down ECU's run game. Their run defense has been very good on the year, which if Cam Fancher is out this week with turf toe, which is a possibility per Coach Herman, the run defense of UTSA is good. So that's going to be a battle between an FAU team, which will need to rely on the run, against a UTSA team that's been pretty good at stopping it. Guys, so if Kaysen is the guy next week, how confident are we in the FAU offense to at least win this UTSA matchup against a defense that hasn't been very good?
Well, they have to win, Robbie.
Yeah.
You know why they have to win, Robbie? It's my birthday on Saturday.
Ooh. You know, I think that's
the pressure's on now. The pressure's on now. But no. In all seriousness, it's every road game's a tough game, man. It's tough to win on the road at any level, anywhere, right? Unless you're playing like out of conference or whatever, or out of division. It's gonna be tough. You can't look past UTSA. They're traditionally one of the better teams in the conference. You look past them and you look past anybody and you get snuck on, you know. So I don't know, but I know it is a must win. The season is cooked, and I love FAU. You know that. Everyone knows that. I love FAU, but if we lose this game on Saturday, the season's cooked. It's just the reality of it.
It would definitely make it hard because then your backs are against the wall. You're going on the road to face Temple and Tulsa, which, you know, those aren't the most crazy environments, but they're still road games nevertheless. There's travel involved, and
Tulsa's halfway across the country.
Exactly.
More than that. It's like across the country, basically. You know, it's the farthest game.
Yeah. So that's if you are 5-6 heading into the last game of the season, needing a win on the road at Tulsa, that is not a place you want to be. You want to be heading into that game 6-5 and playing Kaysen Wiseman and seeing what more he can do. That's the ideal scenario. You don't Kaysen looked really good against Wagner, but
everyone looks.
With the way that Cam Fancher. Yeah, it's like with the way that Cam played against North Texas, he was able to make an impact running the ball. He was able to, his mobility in the pocket was what really impressed me. He didn't give up on plays ever. Sacks were an issue early, like first couple of weeks, but he was evading sacks. That throw where he stepped up and found Wyatt Sullivan over the middle, that was one of the best throws I've seen from any FAU game in a long time from any quarterback. So that was something. And if he's thing is though is if his legs are hampered and he's not able to be that mobile quarterback, but his arm's fine, I still don't want them to start him this week because that is just not the best version of Cam. I think Kaysen in his most healthiest form would give them a better chance at winning this game and get Cam healthy for the remainder of the season. UTSA, they've struggled defensively, as I mentioned, and Kaysen, may have some bumps in the road should he start in this one like we saw against Wagner. But I think we also saw he has the ability to figure out the game as it progresses, get comfortable. And this is in my opinion, it's either, UTSA right now this season is one of the teams you would want your young quarterback to make his, first start, quote unquote, against. So, if Cam's not able to go 100%, I think they will be all right with Kaysen. But what I'm more curious about is how FAU will be able to run the ball this week against the UTSA defense, which has been relatively sound. So, the last couple of weeks have been successful, but there have been some issues against, UConn. It got stuffed a little bit. Army, there was not much there. So, don't want to revert back to that. Got to keep the progress that the run game has been making. Rich, what does FAU need to do this week in your mind?
Well, first off, on defense, have a better pass rush. UTSA's offensive line hasn't done a very good job protecting their quarterback. They've allowed 17 sacks this season, which is near the bottom of the country. The only team in the American worse than UTSA at giving up sacks, USF. They're in the bottom 5 of the country.
That's that offense that they play. It's gross. I'm sorry. It's just with a backup quarterback too. It's gross. It's not good.
But the pass rush, that's going to be very important. I know they had a lot of difficulties defending Chandler Morris in the North Texas game, but this is a pretty good opportunity for them to bounce back because of the defensive collapse, they suffered a heartbreaking loss at the end against North Texas, and I'm sure they're going to be aching to be back on the right track against UTSA's offense, which has taken, as I referred to earlier, they took a couple of steps back. They're no longer averaging over 30 a game. With a successful campaign. They are struggling. They're just averaging just over 20 points a game, while their defense is suffering over 30 points given up per game. So it's going to be very important for the pass rush, like Jackson Ambush and the defensive line, Chisholm, and everybody else involved. Just have the pass rush ready to go and shut down UTSA's offense as quickly as possible because you do not want to keep this game close. You have to execute from start to finish because that's the key to getting the season back on track before it derails into another season where you fail to reach bowl eligibility.
Really close. We're really close to that right now.
It's on the brink. This is a game of willpower. This is last week could have been the best game of the Tom Herman era. It would have been the most important one too, a win on national TV. Now this week is another opportunity to be the most important win of the Tom Herman era. Got to turn it around eventually. Have to. This is against a UTSA team which has typically been good. So they have a very good coach, good culture. Besides fighting Bryce last week, I don't know what that was. But they're going to, like Rich was saying, they're going to fight. They're going to try to win this ball game. Not fight physically, hopefully, but fight in the game and find a way to stay in this game and compete. You mentioned the pressure. I do think FAU needs to amp it up. Chris Jones has been on one the past couple of games. He's been everywhere in the backfield. And Chisholm Ifeanyi has been really good as well. So those two off the edge are going to have to make an impact in this one. And slowing down their run game will be important. If they can stuff the run game and force McCown to try to make some plays, he's struggled outside of Kennesaw State, Houston Christian, and Rice last week. He struggled. They've only scored, I believe, 3 touchdowns against FBS team once this season, Kennesaw State. So they've struggled, and then that was a stat that would sound like we would have said about FAU a couple of weeks ago. So I think this is an opportunity for FAU to win. It's tough to predict what's going to happen right now because I don't know who's the starting quarterback. We'll see. I think the offense will be okay if Kaysen's in. I just don't know if it will have enough to win against a UTSA team that is looking to be pretty healthy coming into this game and is going to be looking to pull off that victory at home. So I'm going to steer away from predictions, but I give two plausibilities. I think FAU could come out fired up and look to end this game pretty quickly and get back to Florida bye week and then play USF at home. Or there's struggles. Backup quarterback, maybe Cam's not 100% and he goes, whatever. Defense struggles a little bit. And then UTSA all of a sudden is gearing up to get that home victory. So it could go either way. But last week was a sign that the adjustments they made weren't just an FCS school thing. It looked like a real good team out there for FAU last week, besides that late collapse. So if that's the case, I like FAU in this one. I like them to go on the road and get that big victory, but we shall see.
I can't remember the last time we won on the road.
It's a good question. I should have pulled up that stat.
We didn't win any on the road
last year against Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, we did beat Charlotte.
On Halloween, yeah.
USF right. And Charlotte, those were the road wins.
That's right, USF. Yep, USF. Mm-hmm. How could I forget that?
Oh, hey, it's possible. It's happened. Don't think it's impossible. But folks,
did Willie Taggart ever win on the road?
That I don't know, but I know that was a stigma that he could not win on the road. I remember that. I remember
FIU,
I'm sure.
And Charlotte as well. I think
those were in 3 years. I only won 2 games on the road.
Hey man, winning on the road is tough. Some things are sold separately, like maybe on the road. But folks, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Inside the Burrow. I will be in San Antonio this week. I'm feeling better. Voice is still a little down.
Are you coming?
Mike will be in San Antonio for the B-Day. I might have to see him if I'm 100%.
Are you coming to dinner tomorrow night?
Don't put me on the spot right now. I gotta see. I'm still technically sick. I don't want to get you guys sick, but maybe if I'm feeling out,
you're gonna get on an airplane and get the whole airplane sick.
Hey man, the doctor actually. You know what? The doctor actually said I don't have COVID or the flu, so you know what? I can't spread what I have. I took the tests. I'm fine. I could have went to Paradise Madness last night, but I wanted to rest. So, but me and Mike will be in San Antonio next week, folks.
Speaking tomorrow, I'm leaving at 3:00 tomorrow, man. I'm going to work in the morning.
I think. I'm on the same flight as you. Are you flying Spirit?
It's the only way to get there.
Oh yeah, yep. I'll see you there.
Right.
And Rich will be back.
Oh, you are going to get me sick. You're going to be on the same freaking plane as me.
Yeah, maybe we got the same row. Rich will be back on the FAU coverage.
I'm calling you out. I'm going to tell the stewardess you have COVID.
No, don't do that. But Rich, you're going to be back at FAU covering the USF game, correct?
Correct. Very big game, and I hope that game is very packed. It should be almost sold out, as far as I'm certain.
I think it will be. I think it's quite possible.
I think we're going to UCF. That's a homecoming game. For those of you watching,
well, I don't want to say
the USF game is the homecoming game this year. It's Friday night. It's going to be wild. I hear we have a special uniform coming out for it. I'm not going to spill the beans, but I know all about it. Maybe I'll tell you offline. But it's going to be a big night. And if we could win tomorrow or Saturday, rather, we could pull this win off Saturday and then have USF at home. That'd be great, man. Couple of hashes in the win column would be nice.
Yeah, if FAU loses to UTSA, then the sellout gets a little iffy just because fair weather people.
Oh, there'll be more USF. There'll be more USF fans there than.
But if they get a win, that place has got to be packed because if FAU beats UTSA, that game becomes huge because that can get them back to 500, 4-4, and then the path to 6 wins is very manageable. 2-0 stretch here, folks. The season is looking a lot different. Check back with us next week here on Inside the Burrow. Hopefully, we come to you guys happy and talking about a bye week ahead because USF's in 2 weeks. But folks, thank you for tuning in to Inside the Burrow. For Birdman, that's Rich. I'm Robbie. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Owls.